Okay, chat, let us get into the actual Halloween reacts. Let us actually start doing some actual Halloween reacts. Shall we? We're gonna start off slow. We're gonna start off with fun. No, Seamus, I'm not. No, I am not. Don't worry, it's in there though. I promise you. It's in there. We are going to start off with stories about your favorite Halloween candy from weird food history. So let us see the odd history behind some of our favorite Halloween candies.
Since you're a cat girl and you are wearing a masquerade mask, does that mean technically dressing up as Selena Kyle in the ballroom scene in The Dark Knight Rises?
Chet, please. I think I am much sexier than Selena Kyle in The Dark Knight Rises. Don't you? Hmm? Eh? I definitely have more personality than Selena Kyle from The Dark Knight Rises. I definitely have more personality than she does. Oh, Miss Siege, you've never seen The Dark Knight Rises? Okay, Hefe, we're not comparing to Michelle Pfeiffer. We're comparing to, Anne Hathaway. Yeah, I'm not comparing myself to Michelle Pfeiffer. It's comparison to Anne Hathaway in The Dark Knight Rises. Yeah, oh yes, Strontinos. I agree. Michelle Pfeiffer was phenomenal as the Catwoman. She was. Alright, chat, let us learn about some weird history behind our favorite Halloween candies.
Halloween, the only holiday where it's socially acceptable to go to your neighbor's house demanding food.
Could I just have the candy?
But have you ever thought about where those delicious sweet treats come from? Well, besides that plastic pumpkin on the porch of the house with the lights off that says 1 piece per kid. Today on Weird History Food...
Hey! I feel personally attacked by that. It wasn't in a plastic pumpkin. I had bowls of candy outside my apartment door saying take what, please take one. I feel personally attacked now. The hell? Weird history food, you're mean.
We're talking the bizarre backstory of your favorite Halloween candy. But before we begin, remember to click that little like and subscribe button and leave a comment about what food you'd like to see covered on our next episode.
Unfortunately, we just started the
reacts.
reacts.
Let's dump our bags on the floor because we're ready to dig in. First up, we have the most polarizing treat on the market, candy corn. Originally known as chicken feed, it was created by Wonderly Candy Company George Renninger in the 18...
Wait, they actually originally called it chicken feed. That explains so much. It really does.
1880s. By 1889, candy corn was also being produced by Goelitz Confectionery, known today as Jelly Belly, of Jelly Bean fame. Today, most candy corn is actually manufactured by Brock's Confections, because no one thought enough of...
Hey Ember, can I suggest a Halloween candy tier list from you? I would love your takes on Candy XD.
Another day, Albert. We can't do it today. I've got stuff lined up. We can't do it today, but we can do it another day, sure. In chat, I have a confession. I'm in the same camp as K-Dog. I kind of like candy corn. It's not my favorite, but I don't find it disgusting or anything. I actually kind of like candy corn. I think it's not bad. Honestly. I don't think it's that bad. Yeah. It's not my favorite candy by any stretch. But if someone say, here, would you like some candy corn? I'd say, yeah, sure. I'll take some. I think it's perfectly yummy.
Candy corn to bother trademarking it. People loved agriculture-themed candy, and the never trade by Brock's Confections, because no one thought enough of candy corn to bother trademarking it.
Oh, what a insult! Candy corn was received so poorly, no one thought to trademark it because I don't want to own the trademark on this. Oh, that's harsh.
People loved agriculture-themed candy, and the 19th century saw a slew of buttercream confections aimed at the rural markets. Think candy chestnuts, candy clovers, and candy turnips. Originally designed as more of a seasonal candy, the brightly flavored morsels, meant to look like pieces of corn on the cob, didn't catch on as a Halloween-specific staple until around 1950. Around 35 million tons of candy corn are produced every year, or 9 billion pieces of individual candy. We also recommend eating candy corn with salted peanuts.
Candy corn with salted peanuts? Really? That doesn't sound very appetizing to me. Yeah, big dog, I was thinking the same thing. And chat, if you want to hear a funny routine about candy corn, I'm not going to do it on stream because we have a lot to get through, but in your spare time, look up the Lewis Black rant on candy corn. You will laugh. Just, again, Lewis Black, his rant on candy corn.
How many licks does it take to get to the center of a Tootsie Pop? Depending on what bird you ask, the answers may vary. For the benefit of a great and necessary field of research, there have been several scientific experiments to uncover the secret lick count of the elusive lollipop. Purdue researchers built a licking machine to go at it and came...
Really? Someone actually built a fucking licking machine to figure out how many licks it takes to get to the center of a Tootsie Pop. Wow. Yeah. And I think we're in the wrong video for this machine. I think it should be more. Yeah.
Came to a final tally of 364, which spurred a University of Michigan student to build his own licking machine, averaging 411 licks. At which point,
That's a licking machine actually licking. Chat, you know, if there were any female researchers on this team, they said, do you mind if I borrow this machine for the weekend for research? You know it happened, chat. Oh, I found a downside with this mask. You can't see me blush. Chat, should I doff the mask so you guys can actually see my cheeks if I blush for the rest of the stream? Do you think I should do that? Or do you want me to just leave the mask on? Which? Okay, I'll do it. Oh my goodness. Okay, at the end of this video, I will take a poll. I will do a poll at the end of this stream, or at the end of this video, and we'll decide.
we hope, someone sat the deans of these very prestigious colleges down to have a serious discussion about what projects their grant money was funding. Meanwhile, mathematicians at NYU came up with 1,000 licks based on calculations regarding the solubility of hard sugar. But Florida scientists came up with double that amount.
2,000, then you get to savor the Tootsie Roll at center.
And chew it.
Nah, you lick that too.
So the answer is it takes somewhere between 364 and 2,000 licks to get to the center of a Tootsie Pop.
Oh, that's just a
like
small
the mysteries
little
of
in-between
Stonehenge
number.
and the pyramids, Tootsie Pops are one of the last remaining mysteries that science cannot explain. Another enduring mystery of the Tootsie Pop is what we like to call the curse of the starred wrapper. Growing up, you may have heard a rumor that finding the image of a star on your Tootsie wrapper was a golden ticket. If you sent your wrapper in, Tootsie Roll Industries would net you some sort of Willy Wonka-esque prize. Cash?
I never heard about
Cavities
this.
for life, maybe? As it turns out, neither. The company debunked the rumor on its website, saying, in fact, Shooting Star appears on 1 in every 4 to 6 Tootsie Pop wrappers, just as frequent as the other images appear. However, we do believe the star is a sign of good luck to come. Since the 80s, Tootsie has responded to the mailers with a consolation prize, a story of a Native American shooting the star down with a bow and arrow and turning it into candy. That honestly raises more questions.
Okay, that's kind of cute. I will say, that's really cute that they did that. They created a whole legend behind the Indian shooting down the star on the wrapper. That is some actual dedication to their own lore that's really cute. I actually like that. Yeah, and someone got ink for it. Yep.
Than it answers. Today, Tootsie Roll Industries is one of the largest candy makers in the world, churning out 64 million morsels every day. Its legacy can be traced to its progenitor, the Tootsie Roll. Created at the turn of the century by Austrian-American candyman Leo Hirschfeld, he patented the formula in 1907. Snickers, the only candy that you can reasonably get away with calling a meal. It's like we added ground-up peanuts to something and suddenly it's lunch. Snickers.
By the way, chat. By the way, I do not know if you're aware of this. Okay, Iron, drive safely, please. Chat, I do not know if you're aware of this, but the official, and yes, the official food of the fuel rats is Snickers. That is actually the official food of the fuel rats. If you do not file your paperwork in the fuel rats, you lose Snickers, quote unquote. Yes, I have, Moros. I have heard of that. So, little bit of not only favorite Halloween candy trivia, but fuel rat trivia is the fuel rat. Snickers is the official snack bar of the fuel rats. Quick story behind that. Apparently, early on in the fuel rats' history, some pirates, like quote unquote, kidnapped a fuel rat who was doing a rescue, and this fuel rat was incredibly annoying to these pirates. So the pirates demanded, I forget what it was that they demanded for the return of the fuel rat, and the fuel rat response was, "No, you're gonna give us the fuel rat back and 1,000 Snickers," or something like that. And that's why the fuel rats love Snickers. So, a little bit of fuel rat trivia there to go along with the Snickers trivia.
Snickers entered the market in the 1930s, named after the favorite horse.
Leo, a correction for you. The fuel rats is not a faction. The fuel rats is just a volunteer player rescue group. We are not a faction. There is a faction in Elite Dangerous named after us, the Fuel Rats Mischief, but that is an NPC. That's an NPC group. We, the Fuel Rats, are just a collective of players that are a volunteer rescue organization. We are not a faction.
Of the Mars family, the dynasty behind Mars bars, Milky Ways,
Blurred.
Musketeers, Twix, basically anything with nougat. Snickers is the crowning jewel in Mars Inc.'s sticky chocolate crown. It is the number one candy sold in the entire world, bringing in 3.6 billion brought in annually on that one bar alone. That really satisfies.
By the way, chat, and my UK chatters, you can confirm this, Snickers do not exist in the UK. Instead, it is the Mars bar. So, while the Mars bar does not exist in America, the Snickers bar does not exist in the UK. They have the Mars bar, we have the Snickers. So, a little bit of candid trivia there for you.
Over 15 million Snickers made daily, you'd think the quality control of Snickers would be a little lax, but no. Every bar
I think it's a different
exactly
Mars bar that
ground.
Wait. No, it's that they have the Mars bar instead of the Snickers in the UK, not that the Mars bar doesn't exist in America. It's yeah, I mixed up. Stop that the Mars bar doesn't exist in America, but it's that the Snickers is not in the UK. They only have the Mars bar. Oh wait, yeah, that's right, Drowning Moons. Yeah, the Mars bar in the US is different than the UK's. The UK's Mars bar is a Snickers bar, but it's a different brand. Yeah, that's what it was. The Mars bar in the US is like almonds, whereas the does it heckle? I thought the UK didn't have Snickers. I thought they had Mars bars instead. Oh, I'm wrong. Then I'm wrong. Okay. I thought I must have screwed this up. I thought UK did not have Snickers. They had Mars bars instead. Okay. Never mind. Never mind. And yes, Milky Way is tasty, but I still prefer Three Musketeers over all of it. Yes. No. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
Ground up peanuts. The production of Snickers is so tightly regulated that it was a big deal in 2009 when the weight of the bars was reduced by 9% to prevent overeating. The weight of Snickers has actually varied wildly over the years. It started at 2.5 ounces and ballooned up to 2.75 in 1940 before seeing its weight halved the following decade.
Better? Better.
Hershey's Kisses. What's more enticing as a kid than seeing those little drops covered in shiny?
Okay, I did not argue that this doesn't belong in Halloween candy. Hershey's Kisses is far more of a Christmas or Valentine's candy versus a Halloween candy, I'm gonna say. Yes, people give out Hershey's Kisses during Halloween, but they are far more prominent during Christmas and more importantly, Valentine's Day. That Valentine's Day is where the Hershey's Kisses shine. Literally.
Tiny foil with
Good
a
night,
perfect piece
Holster.
of paper sticking out. Any teacher who passed them out was a legend. However, one thing our educational system failed to inform us was that the chocolates we know and love weren't created by Hershey's at all. In 1894, a candyman named Henry Oscar Wilbur invented a sweet by pouring melted chocolate into a tear-shaped mold with a raised insignia reading Wilbur. He called them Wilbur.
Hang on. What is the Snickers bar called in the UK? The marathon bar, depending on your age and resistance to change. Potentially, it never went away, but 34 years after the shock Snickers rebrand, the marathon bar is making a comeback in the UK. The decision to drop a British name for the treat caused an uproar back in 1990, and some diehard fans have been complaining about it ever since, I'm guessing.
Buds. Aw. During this time, Milton Hershey, a real Henry Ford of the confectionery world, was figuring out ways to automate the production line for the 1900 release of his Hershey chocolate bar. He saw teardrop shapes could easily be replicated by squirting chocolate onto a flat surface, saving a bunch of time and, one assumes, mold money. Hershey's Kisses were released 14 years after Wilbur's Buds, but the Kiss immediately outsold Buds on the market in 1907, even though the two were basically identical.
Well, and that's because one came from a lone chocolatier and the other one came from a chocolate conglomerate. No big shock that the Hershey's Kisses won out. Canito. And yes, squirting. Phrasing.
But Bud still chugged along, keeping pace with the Kiss and various other competitors until 1921, which is when Hershey updated his factories to automate the silver foiling process. Buds, which had been using the foil since its inception, couldn't keep up with the speed in Hershey's mass production. He went on to sue Milton for stealing his idea. Considering Hershey's remains a brand name over 120 years later, and nobody has ever heard of Wilbur's Buds unless they're lying to impress you. Today, the Hershey empire ranks up there as one of the big four chocolatiers, alongside Mars, Cadbury, and Nestle, a lot of it due to Milton Hershey's factory innovations rather than his original ideas for candy.
Leo, you take it for what you can.
Wasn't even
Take
an
it for what
original
it
name
is.
for the treats. An 1856 Webster Dictionary definition for the word already described it as a small piece of confectionery. It would take Hershey's 95 years till they were able to secure the Kisses trademark in 2001, after a survey found that most people already associated the phrase with the product.
Interesting. Sour Patch
Sour Patch
Kids.
Kids. The mouth-puckering sour gummy candy that's shaped
These
like
are
kids.
yummy.
Not the most obvious choice for a popular treat, what with the implicit candy cannibalism and the fact that they tend to stick to your teeth.
Oh.
Originally named Mars Men, Sour Patch was created by a guy named
Yeah,
Frank
these are yummy.
Galatoli while he was working for Jared International in Ontario back in the early 70s. By the time the candy made it to America in 1985, Cabbage Patch Kids were all the rage. Martian men became
big
human
dog.
children as the brand attempted to cash in
Yeah, I mean, these are going to be cavity givers more than anything. Well, I mean, Leo, they are very tart. Sour Patch Kids and Sour Patch Candies are very tart, which is not for everyone. There are certain Sour Patch Kid flavors that I'm not a big fan of. Some of them, some of their flavors are, I don't find them to be great. Generally speaking, I do like them, but they are a bit of an acquired taste.
on the Cabbage Patch trend. The candy even got a new mascot, a tow-headed blonde boy with his tongue lolling out on the cover of the packs. That boy was based on Galatoli's son, Scott, and again leads to some troubling questions.
Potato?
Is the mascot the consumer
I
of the
know of
candy,
them,
or
and
the
I know
child
about the
whose
movie.
likeness you're chomping on? Is it both? Chemistry plays a huge part in the Sour Patch formula. The gummy's coating of tartaric and citric acid, which are activated by protons in saliva, registers on the tongue as sour. There was even an official Sour Patch Kids cereal. You know, what kid doesn't want to wake up in the
Really?
morning to sour-tasting milk? Sour Patch Kids also joins the ranks of sweets who have branched into ice cream and video games. Shout out to anyone who remembers Capcom's 2011 World Gone Sour on PlayStation.
I don't
The candy
remember this.
also has the unique distinction of having been used in a beer. Mob Craft
Nice.
Beer introduced Sour Catch, a Belgian pale ale flavored with the candy in 2009. It was sold
Wow.
out by Halloween.
Wow. That is one candy that really branched the fuck out. They went from candy to cereal to a video game to ice cream to a fucking beer. That's impressive for a candy like that to be able to branch out in such a way.
If you like your jelly beans big and spicy, shaped like a pill, and tasting like pungent cinnamon, hot tamales are the candy for you. Created in the 1950s
I have never
by
had
the mad
these.
scientists at Just Born Incorporated, hot tamale fit in amid the ranks of their other offerings. Mike and Ike's, Peeps, and Peanut Chews
Oh,
as
Mike and
candy people
Peeps.
either love or
Oh,
would
okay.
rather die than eat. The movie theater concession staple was named the #1 cinnamon candy in America in 1999, which is really the ultimate
Yeah,
in
fuck
consolation
that, me
prizes.
neither.
I mean, how many other cinnamon candies can you even name? Cinnamon has a long and storied history as a sweet treat. It contains the chemical cinnamaldehyde, which is a skin irritant. So naturally, humans throughout time have been hell-bent on eating it. Cinnamon
Fantastic.
can be found in the Bible, Egyptian hieroglyphics, and Sanskrit. By the 19th century, we'd figured out how to isolate cinnamaldehyde and put it directly into medicine and, candies. Red Hots, the
Okay.
predecessor to hot tamales, first hit the markets in the 1930s. And ever since then, we've been
Oh. Okay, this previous shot makes me wonder if one of the foods on this list is going to be lemon heads. Anybody remember lemon heads? I'm really curious if they're going to end up on this list. Yeah. Because they look very excuse me. They look very similar to these Red Hots. Yeah. I wonder if that'll be next on the list.
upping the hot tamales ante. There's Super Hot Tamales, 2011's 3 Alarm Tamales, and Hot Tamale, Fire and Ice. Debuting in 2018, Fire and Ice mixed a discontinued spearmint variant in with cinnamon hot tamales, creating a mouthfeel equivalent of the series finale of Game of Thrones. So less of a song of ice and fire and more of a scream.
I'm sorry, the last I checked, the series finale of Game of Thrones was met with tears of heartbreak that it ended so fucking badly, not screams. But whatever.
M&M's. Melts in your
Yeah.
mouth, not in your hand.
Oh, okay.
While that
M&Ms,
slogan
yeah.
may sound cute and somewhat dirty, the original slogan for the hard-shelled Mars chocolates actually has a pretty dark history. In 1937, H.I. Rowntree and Company in England began producing a small, hard-shelled candy to sell to British soldiers fighting the Spanish Civil War. Originally called
Okay.
Smarties, not to be confused with the other Smarties candy, they were pitched as snacks that wouldn't go gooey in the heat, keeping hands clean and combat ready. Working at Rowntree at the time was a shrewd candyman named Forrest Mars, the estranged son of Frank Mars. The father and son had a falling out over who invented the Milky Way bar. The Mars family had
really?
all kinds of drama going on behind the scenes. Forrest realized candy sales dropped in the summer, specifically chocolate, which tended to melt in your hand, your purse, or the back pocket of your white linen pants right before an interview. A small, portable,
Really? I was not expecting Weird Food History to make a shit my pants joke. That was unexpected.
melty chocolate candy was just the ace in the hole Forrest needed to return to America with his head held high. He received a patent for his borrowed candy idea in 1941. When World War II broke out,
And you are right,
America began
Incognito. He
rationing.
didn't write the last
Hershey's had been given
season.
control of 100% of the nation's chocolate. Instead of returning to his family, Forrest came up with a plan. He approached Bruce Murray, the son of Hershey's president William Murray, with a proposition from one passed-over kid to another. What if they formed their own chocolate company? And that's how the
Oh my
Mars
god,
and Murray
this is like... All of these candy companies are all, like, kept in the fucking family, essentially. Like, talk about... This is fucking candy nepotism at this point.
Company, or M&M, was born. Originally, their candy was offered exclusively to American forces, but the GIs took them home. By the time the war ended and it was made available to civilians, M&M's already had a head start on cornering the market as the chocolate that won't slop up your clothes. Skittles, nature's
What
fruit-flavored
Skittles?
M&Ms. Skittles are produced by Wrigley's, which is owned by none other than Mars Inc., who did eventually get the M&M license when Forrest rejoined his father's company. This really needs to be a gripping Succession-style drama. But while the candies may look alike, and in the case of 2007's chocolate mix Skittles and key lime pie M&Ms, occasionally share a wrapper, they couldn't be more different. While M&M had a famous backstory tied to the most significant war in modern history, the birth of Skittles is a mystery. No one knows who invented Skittles. Most
By the way, can I just say, some of the commercials that they had, where you had people that had, like, the Midas Touch Skittles version, where everything they touched turned to Skittles, was... Yeah, those like, Skittles Touch commercials were fucking heartbreaking. I remember one specifically. It was like a guy in an office who everything he touched turned to Skittles. And he's like, can you imagine, and his coworkers were like, oh, it must be so awesome. And he's like, you think it's awesome that you can't hug your own child? And I'm like, oh, that breaks my heart. That broke my heart when this guy was like, I can't even touch my own child because she'll turn into Skittles. And it was like, oh God, that was like gut-wrenching to hear that. I didn't like those commercials because of that. It's like I thought the worst when I saw those kind of commercials. Wait, J.K. Simmons is the wow. Yeah, Leo, I'm with you. I did not realize that was J.K. Simmons. Like, I knew that Red was, what the fuck is his name? He's the comedian. He used to be on SNL. What the fuck is his name? Chat, help me out. Who is it that voices the Red Eminem? He did, he did the voice for The Critic, and he was in SNL, and he's done a couple Adam Sandler movies, I think. What is his fucking name? Okay, I gotta look this up. I gotta look this up. Hang on. Wait, it's Billy West. Oh, fuck. Okay, I am way the fuck off. I did not realize that was Billy West. I thought it was someone else entirely. Holy shit. I had, okay, I'm a little gobsmacked. Because I thought it was, hang on.
Cheer 100 Canadian Smarties are so much better than American Smarties.
Peeve, 100% agree. Yeah, I thought it was John Lovitz that was the voice of the red M&M. That's who I thought it was. I thought it was John Lovitz. I did not realize it was Billy West. Holy fuck. Granted, I haven't seen one of those M&M commercials in a very long time, so... But damn, yeah, now that I realize it was Billy West, now I hear it. In my head, now I can actually hear it, and I'm kicking myself for not having heard it before. And thinking it was John Lovitz.
Sources point to an uncredited British company as the first producer of Skittles in 1974, before the candy magically appeared in America 5 years later. According to 1994's Taste the Rainbow campaign, a man named Mr. Skittles invented a namesake candy after looking at a rainbow. In actuality, Skittles probably came from the European game called Skittles, which uses a slightly smaller bowling ball that comes in a variety of colors. We prefer the Mr. Skittles story. We saved the best for last, and obviously, it's Reese's Peanut Butter Cups.
Hell
and before you
yes.
ask, no, that's not personal preference talking. It's an unbiased and immutable law of nature.
And when you unwrap a Reese's, they... that will never go away. Hi, Lumia.
Harry Burnett Reese, HB to his friends, began working at Hershey's Chocolate Factory in 1921, which is not the fun Wonka-esque experience it sounds like. Reese didn't have a lot of options. He'd had to work 3 and sometimes 4 jobs to bring in enough money to feed his wife and 16 kids. That's, too many kids. Reese, talk about Reese's Pieces.
Obviously, she has never been to the eastern provinces of Canada, where 16 kids was not too long ago kinda common. Honestly, big families were pretty common in eastern Canada.
During his 5-year tenure, Reese developed a prescient philosophy. If Hershey's can sell a trainload of chocolates every day, he later said, I can at least make a living making candy. Reese spent 5 years working at Hershey's, taking scrupulous notes, which he then took home and applied to his side hustle, an ad hoc candy shop run out of his basement. He'd started small, producing your basic mints, hard candies, chocolate-covered raisins, candied nuts, and what have you, which he'd sell to nearby department stores. But his dream? Stuffed chocolates. Indeed, it is a dream we all share. One of his early inventions was the Lizzie Bar, named after his daughter, who remembers her dad getting up at 3 a.m. to crack and grate coconuts for his chocolate-covered caramels. By 1926, Reese's various confectionery treats were making him enough money to quit Hershey's to focus on his passion for putting things into chocolate and smushing them together. The company moved from Reese's basement to a nearby Pennsylvania factory, where there was no filling he wouldn't try. Coconuts with caramel, coconuts with cream, coconuts with honeydew. Big coconut guy, Reese was. But to his credit, he also made peppermint creams, chocolate jets, nutties, nougats, peanuts, and raisin...
Wait! Is Peppermint Patties a Reese's product? Who owns Peppermint Patties? Is that Reese's or is that Hershey's? I can't remember. Because that looked an awful lot like a peppermint patty to me. It's Hershey that owns it? Okay.
Clusters to sell as a mixed assortment of chocolates. To round out the grab bag, Reese reached for the closest ingredient he had yet to try, peanut butter, which he'd sandwich in paper cups layered between cooling slabs of Hershey's chocolates. My man had no shame. But the cups were so pretty that Reese ended up putting them in store windows to attract customers. By 1935, they were popular enough to make as a standalone dessert. Then the war broke out, and as we now know, Hershey had the rights to all the chocolate rations. Reese was forced to rely exclusively on his peanut butter cups, as his other chocolates didn't have a Hershey's hookup. But it proved fortunate, and Reese's peanut butter cups became the shining jewel of the family crown. Reese died in 1956, leaving the company to his sons, who in turn sold 5% of their stock to Hershey's for $25 million. Today, that stock would be worth over $1 billion, thanks to its popularity as the best Halloween candy in the world. Not an opinion, that's just science. So, what do you think? What's your favorite Halloween candy? Let us know in the comments below and check out some of these other videos from Weird History Food.
Admit it, chat. You like taking off the Reese's peanut butter cup. You like taking the Reese's peanut butter cup panties off.
Not only does the Mars Company make a load of candy and chocolate, they also own a variety of animal hospitals. So technically, they distribute the poison and cure for your dog under one roof. Monopoly genius.
Really? I did not know that. I was not aware of that, Ribbon. Very interesting. Huh. Right, Gat. I'm not even gonna balk you for that because I kind of agree.